Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, musicians, and comedians that perform here and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what makes our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Dawn Davis Womack.
Hello, Laughers. I'm thrilled to introduce you to Eiley Huber from Silk Moth Stage, a new, unique outdoor theater experience in West Rockingham County near Dayton, Virginia. They produce community events with new classics. Their productions are place-based, artist-centered, and audience-connected. They borrow Shakespeare and Company's definition of the classics, the highest truth universally told with healing powers. They invite people to reconsider what a theater experience can be, where artists work in an outdoor environment with an audience that surrounds the performance space. Silk Moth Stage was founded by Eiley, a professional director and dramaturg living in West Rockingham County. The American Shakespeare Center, where she earned her MFA, brought her to the Shenandoah Valley in 2004, and she stayed. Welcome to the show, Eiley. It's great to have you on today.
It's great to be here, Dawn. Thank you so much.
Yes, this is so exciting. I love the stuff that you are doing, and I am so very grateful to Mary Beth Killian from Sipe Center who connected us. So a shout out to Mary Beth. We love you, and I can't wait to check out my first show at Silk Moth Stage this season. Thank you again for coming on.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I don't think you're originally from here, though. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in West Virginia on sort of the Ohio side of the state, on an intentional community, sort of a tiny commune, you could say.
Okay.
Lots of artists, lots of musicians.
All right. Where is that in relation to Morgantown, West Virginia? Because that's where I'm from.
It's like 45 minutes south and then 45 minutes west.
Okay, not too far. Okay, is that in your commune experience where you first realized your passion for theater?
Not really. There weren't any theater artists. There were musicians and there were visual artists mostly. No, when I was in elementary school, I wrote and directed a scripted Christmas play for my fourth grade class. I was 9. There were 25 kids in the play. And it was a really wild experience. And when I think back on it, I think like, oh, I just knew who I was when I was 9. And then when I got into high school, I went to a Robert Seabird High School, which has an excellent performing arts program, or did at the time anyway. And I had a lot of opportunities to direct when I was in high school and then into college.
Yeah. Speaking of college, where did you do your undergraduate degree then?
So I went to Hiram College, which is a small college in Ohio. It's kind of close to Cleveland. And I picked Hiram because when I went to interview there, the head of the theater department told me that they had a budget set aside for student directed work and no one had touched it in like 5 years. And so they were basically like, if you come here, you can direct all the time. And that was all I wanted to do. So I went there and I had an amazing experience. I had the undergrad experience that like everyone wishes their kid would have.
Oh, that's great. What do you love about directing so much?
I really love being in a position where I can facilitate people's best work. So as the director, it's not my job to come in and tell people, here's the story and here's what we're going to create. It's my job to be really good at listening for the best idea in the room and amplifying it. And so I think like, there's other kinds of directors. There are people who definitely come in and are like, this is what we are doing. And it's Hamlet on the moon. And I'm just not that person. But I am really, really skilled at making sure that people feel like they can share their ideas and that they have an ownership of the creative process. My work is really, really actor centered. I'm just a very relational director. And I just love when I have the opportunity to create a situation where people feel like they can invest and be brave and like they matter. It's incredible. It's incredible to create with other people. I'm like not creative by myself ever. I have to have collaborators. The pandemic was hard.
I bet. Yeah, same here.
Other people like wrote books or something. And I was like, I can't. I did actually write a book, but I had a co-author because I couldn't have done it by myself. But other people were like creating stuff by themselves the whole time. Like, oh, it's quiet. We have time to work. And I was like, I need other
connection and people to co-create with
all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I'm sure there's some lappers out there that may not be familiar with this term, dramaturg. So what is a dramaturg?
Yeah, so a dramaturgs do a lot of different things. And the thing people often think of first is that dramaturgs do the research for the play. So like if you're doing, I don't know, if you're doing Romeo and Juliet and you're going to set it in New York in the 1940s, a dramaturg maybe is going to assemble like stuff that they're going to put together the play script, make some choices about which version of the text we're using and how it's going to be structured. They're going to make sure that everyone understands what the words mean and what the story is. And they also might be like, okay, here are some images of New York from the 1940s, and they're supplying that to the creative team. So that's production dramaturgy, which I do a little of. Most of what I do, though, is what's called new play dramaturgy. And the job in that case is I read plays and I ask a lot of questions of the playwright, like, why can't this character just go accomplish their goal in the first scene? It's like, what's the obstacle? Or, you have these three people and I think this play might be more producible if you conflated them to one person. Do you think you could do that? And so it's a lot of looking at kind of the structure of the play and helping a playwright come to a version of the play that is just more compelling and producible. Not all playwrights work with dramaturgs, but some of them do.
That's good. Yeah, you are creating quite a unique experience there at Silk Moth, where the audience is a crucial piece of the work. It's their imaginations that provide most of the tech, as I understand it. And that's a new concept. I mean, I have an acting background in undergrad and then came back to it later in life. And some experiences I've certainly had like that, but it sounds like you're taking it to a bit of a new level. So can you share more about what that looks like exactly at Silk Moth?
Sure. So you mentioned in the intro that I did my MFA at the American Shakespeare Center. And one thing that I have kind of taken from that experience that I really believe in is that we can ask the audience to do a lot of the work for us. So if you go to the American Shakespeare Center, you'll see there's like nothing on the stage. Maybe there's a chair. They don't have lighting effects. All of the sound is live generated. And I believe, and I think they believe, that by inviting the audience to kind of create that space imaginatively with us, it brings the audience in and it makes them be invested in a whole different way. So if you go see like Henry V at Shakespeare Theater Company in DC, like they're going to have like a literal, battlefield built on that stage. But if you go see it at American Shakespeare Center, what happens is a person comes out at the top of the show and says, hello, we don't have a literal battlefield here. So you have to create it with your imagination. And it's an invitation to the audience. So in Silk Moth, we are doing new work, so not Shakespeare, but there is still that sense of like, it's pretty stripped down. We're inviting people to go along with us and not be like, that's just your porch on your house. That's not the, under the sea or wherever the play happens to be set. So we have like minimal sets. We do a very good costume design, which again comes from that Shakespeare tradition of like, that would be the most elaborate piece of a Shakespeare production. So what you're looking at on the actors' bodies are great. We have a couple of really fantastic costume designers. Shout out to Holly Labby and Heidi Jablonski, who are incredible. We have our sound design, such as it is like either live generated or we're like DJing from a laptop to a Bluetooth speaker. Like that's the maximum. And I like to say God is our lighting designer. So we time the shows. We time the shows to end at sundown. And it's great because the porch faces the west. And so you can, if you're on the porch, like you're in the spotlight right as the sun's going down on the Allegheny side of the valley. And it is just an incredible, incredible experience. Silk Moth is a very different kind of theater space. I mean, we are outside, so people should know there's bugs and birds and cats and pollen. So people should be prepared. But when folks come, what happens is they come here, they park up at my neighbor's turkey houses because I live on the backside of someone's farm. They walk down the lane. We do have handicap accessible parking that's closer, but most people take this beautiful little walk down the lane, and we have live music going as people are showing up, and we hang these big silk banners in the yard that just blow in the breeze and look so beautiful. And folks, they picnic, they can go check out the dry river, throw some rocks in there. We've got some hammocks. It's just like people interacting, experiencing community. And then there's a play in kind of the middle of it. And then at the end, assuming that the weather is okay, we do a fire circle and we have s'mores, and people can come and talk about the play, but it feels more organic than like if you've been to like a talk back at a theater where that still is a performance. It still is the audience on stage or the actors on stage, and the audience is like asking a question, and it's all very presentational. Whereas when we're around the fire, you can have a casual conversation with the person who just created this thing. And sometimes the playwright's even there, which is very cool.
Oh, yeah.
We're working with living playwrights so far anyway. So it's just like this very kind of beautifully environmentally grounded experience.
That sounds absolutely beautiful. What inspired you to open this space?
Oh, it's kind of a cute story. So our house is about 50 years old, and the porch on it was becoming a death trap. And so I had it torn off and rebuilt in 2021. And I showed my son a drawing of what the front of the house was going to look like when the new porch was on there, because I've changed the design. And he was looking at it and he said, "Mom, why are you building a Shakespeare stage on our house?" And I said, "I am not." "Oh, it even has a balcony. Okay." He's seen a whole lot of original practice of Shakespeare, and he clocked it right away. And so I just couldn't get it out of my head. Every day I'd come home and I'd be like, I'm just carrying groceries down center to up center on the Silk Moth stage. The name actually comes from while they were building the porch. It was like half done, and my kids have these big lengths of silk because I dye silk when I'm stressed. Actually, it's just a tactile pleasure, and so they have all these big silks, and they took them out and they were just dancing with them on the stage. And I texted a picture to my friend Scott Lang, who's an actor I work with a bunch in Michigan, and he immediately wrote back, "Silk Moth stage," and I was like, "Yeah, that's right."
That's perfect.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think people have been telling me for like 10 years that I should start a theater company, and I have resisted it. It's like, it feels like a lot of work. No, thank you. And it is a lot of work, but this was the right time. This was the right moment. I have an incredible board. I've got like so much community support, and I finally knew what I wanted to create. Like the stage told me what it wanted to be. And this feels so much like people keep asking me, like, is it hard to run a theater company? This just feels like the culmination of things I have done for my whole life. Like there is nothing to do with running a theater company that I have not done before. I haven't done it all at the same time, but like I've worked on nonprofit boards. I've done budgeting. I've done grants. I've directed plays. I've produced things. Like it just feels like all of my skills kind of coming together in this perfect synergy. And I'm so happy.
Oh, yeah, you can totally tell. By the way, how old is your son?
He's 12 and a half. At the time, he was 10.
Yeah, I love that about young people. They just, they have their minds are more open and they can see things and flexible. And look what happened. He voiced that, and now we have Silk Moth stage. I can't wait to meet this little young man.
I should shout out his sister too, who is 10 now, and she is also an integral part of the whole experience.
Oh yeah, what does she do? What's her role?
So she mostly manages the cats. We have several cats, and they like to come visit. And so she'll go up to people when they're sitting having their picnic, and she'll be like, "This is our cat Porco. He's very, very friendly. That cat over there, that's Tortilla. She's going to try and steal your picnic." And she's like the cat ambassador for the whole experience.
This is going to be so great. I can't wait. So let's talk about what you started. It's the last year was the first year, 2022. What plays did you do in the first year?
Yeah. So last year was the theme sort of serendipitously or accidentally had a lot to do with mental health. And we were trying to do plays that had like a whimsical or interesting approach to that topic that weren't heavy and weren't going to leave people feeling sad. We like to end with messages of hope and renewal. So we did a play called Every Brilliant Thing, which Mary Beth Killian, our friend, directed.
Yeah. Oh, great. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. She did that starring Katie Downing. It's a one-person show. And that's a pretty widely known play. They did it at American Shakespeare Center last summer as well. And it's the story of a woman who's dealing with her mother's repeated attempts at suicide and how that impacts her own mental health. And it goes from the time she's 7 until she's like probably in her 30s. It's a really interesting interactive play. There are times where the actor has to like go to an audience member and be like, can you pretend to be my therapist for a minute, and like brings the person on stage and has them sit down and like they improv with her. So that was fun. And I also want to say that anything that has that level of interaction, we give people stickers when they come in that are red, yellow, green to indicate how open are they to
great
being interacted with, because we practice consent-based theater at all levels here.
Good.
Yes. So great. So Every Brilliant Thing was our opening show. And then our second show was the world premiere of a play called Give Us Good, which was by Pam Mandigo, who now lives in Culpeper. She lived in Harrisonburg for a long time and went to EMU. And Give Us Good is a play about a world where like everyone has their own monster, and like sometimes your monster gets out of hand and then you have to go find a monster eater to help you out. But the monster eater in this community is like maybe not super great at her job, or maybe crazy. And I love that play so much. I directed it. And one of the things I love about it is that my kids watched that play and thought it was about a world where people are fighting monsters. And my friends watched that play and thought it was about PTSD. And both things were true.
Wow. Very cool.
So such a gorgeous piece of work. I mean, incredible.
Yeah, those are really great works. So what can the Laughers expect to see this season?
This season, our theme is about art and like, why do we make art and what does art mean? I need to come up with like catchier names for our seasons, but so far I'm just like, I don't know. It's like art. People have to make art. We've been making art longer than we've had agriculture. Like, it's very important. So the first show that we're doing is called Artemisia's Intent. And this is a regional premiere. It was created by a group of devised theater performers in New York called the Anthropologists. And we're I think, the first theater besides them to be producing it. And it tells the story of Artemisia Gentileschi, who's a famous Renaissance painter. And she was the victim of sexual assault as a young woman. And one of the things she did as an act of like vengeance or self-worth or something was she repeatedly used this man's face as the victim of lots of horrible violence in her paintings. So she's got a painting that's a intertestamental sort of biblical story where Judith cuts off the head of Holofernes, and like Holofernes' face is this guy. Anyway, she's rad.
Sounds like it.
So cool. And so for that one, that is a one-woman show. Sarah Levine McClelland is playing that person. And the director for that is Heidi Winters Vogel, who used to live in Harrisonburg for many years. And now she lives in Indiana. She teaches at Wabash College, but she's coming back for this show.
Oh, great.
I'm so thrilled that Heidi wanted to be part of Silk Moth ever at all. And then our other show, which I am directing, which is in the fall, is called Wonder of Our Stage. It is a world premiere of a play by Monica Cross, who also has a Valley connection. I met Monica because she also went to the American Shakespeare Center grad school, although several years after me. So there's all these, everyone involved kind of has some little piece
connection
of Valley.
Here. Yeah.
And for that play, it's a story about, it's set in the 16th century. Queen Elizabeth has this problem where she needs to get married, but she can't marry a subject because that would be like putting a subject over the queen. She also can't marry a foreigner because that's putting a foreign power over the queen. What does she do? So she gets her court alchemist, John Dee, a real person, and she says to him, you need to solve this problem for me. And so John Dee goes off and he creates a wooden automaton, like a 16th century robot of a man. And he brings it to Queen Elizabeth and he's like, hey, I made you this person. He's not a subject. He's not a foreigner. He's made from real English oak. And she's like, you brought me a doll. Get out of my face. So then John Dee he's mad and he goes and hires Richard Burbage, who famously was an actor, real life actor who worked with Shakespeare, to teach the robot how to be human. And it is such a quirky, interesting, beautiful play. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Star Trek episodes where Data is trying to learn about how to be a person, where he's like, why do people cry? So it's kind of got that vibe to it. It is just fun. And that one our audition form is open. People can submit a self-tape any day. We'll be casting that in mid-July. And we have a guest artist coming to play Queen Elizabeth. It was Catherine Mayberry, who lives in Michigan now, but she and I went to American Shakespeare Center together. So again, Valley connection.
Nice.
And Catherine is an incredible award-winning actress. And I am so, so thrilled that she's coming to Silk Moth. So that's our season.
I'm loving both of those projects so much. I think they'll be delightful to watch and experience. And I think it's fun, too, that you offer a picnic menu where laughers can order a meal for any of the shows from your friends at Sugar Bean and Bakery there in Bridgewater, Virginia. That's so fun. How does that work?
It's pretty simple. What we wanted to offer to people was like, if you want to come have a picnic, but you don't want to think about packing a picnic. Like, I hate packing a picnic. I love eating a picnic. I'm not Martha Stewart either. Right? My mom packs the best picnics and I am terrible at it. I'm like, just, no. So when you go on our box office website to purchase a show ticket, you can select your dinner from Sugar and Bean if you want to do that. So there's a menu available. We have information about all the ingredients and stuff. If you have any allergies, you can let us know. And then there's a member of my board, Holly Labby, is also works at Sugar and Bean, and she puts all the picnics in her van and drives them out here. And so people come and they check in for the show, and we find them their dinner, and then they just have a picnic, and it's really nice. I also just want to note, though, people don't have to buy a Sugar and Bean picnic. Like, if you want to bring your own food, also totally fine. But yeah, the Sugar and Bean buns, they're good. Sometimes even though I'm at my own house and wouldn't have to pack anything, every production, at least once, I order a Sugar and Bean picnic.
Yeah, it seems so easy. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
also,
it is a delight.
It is a delight. And I'm also happy to hear that you can bring your own food, because today's featured snack, laughers, is PrePOPsterous Gourmet Popcorn. And check this out, Eileen and laughers. PrePOPsterous is just right across the street from Sugar Bean. Did you know this, Eileen?
I did not know this. I clearly need to be more observant because I'm in Bridgewater all the time. I will go visit them.
You need to go visit them. They're in the North Market River Place. So So they're right inside there, and they sell all these absurdly flavorful gourmet popcorn, and they use kernels right here in the Shenandoah Valley, just 10 minutes away from their factory, which is in your neck of the woods.
I love that it's all local. We're big believers in the whole local thing here.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's your favorite, sweet or savory? Because they have both.
I like your mixes, like your salty chocolate kind of ones.
They got something for you. I'm going to tell you what, and I'm going to make sure I send you some. They're going to send it to you, actually.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And lovers, you can save money and snag some popcorn to munch on at one of the Silk Moth stage show plays using discount promo code LAUGH15 when you visit PrePOPsterous.com. That's PrePOPsterous.com. Thank you, PrePOPsterous. We love you. I've been thinking these partnership with Sugar Bean is pretty cool. Do you do other partnerships?
We are always looking for other partnerships. And I should just say, like, Sugar and Bean, they don't give us a kickback. It's not like that. It's just that we're trying to make the experience better for our audience. One kind of partnership we're looking for right now is we want to be able to do a parents' night out for every production. And so we're looking for somebody to partner with who does like either childcare or, craft classes for kids, or anybody whose insurance allows them to take care of kids for a few hours. So that we could have like, okay, this particular night, the parents can come see Artemisia's Intent. They can drop their kids off at something where the kids will have a fun experience and have dinner and like make a craft and learn something, and they're safe and taken care of. And then, after the show, you have a s'more and then you get to pick up your kid. So we're working on that. I'm in conversation with a few different organizations right now, but I really would love to be able to offer like different things for each production that we do so that kids don't, it's not like, oh, it's the same thing today. So anyway, people who are into that, I would love to hear from them. And also we're looking for musicians right now. We do live music before the show. Anyone who can perform unplugged, give me a call.
Like a 1 or 2 person band.
Like a 1 or a 2 person kind of situation. Yeah, we do pay musicians, but we don't have like a big budget. So anything bigger than that, splitting it 5 ways or something is just not. Yeah.
Not in the cards at the moment.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. Yeah, you have tickets available for these shows. So I would love if you shared with the laughers how they can purchase the tickets. And is there anything special to note that the laughers should know about? Also, like cost, if you could share all of that.
Sure. So if you go to our website, there are like a bunch of links that just say buy tickets. There's a button that's kind of teal. There's a thing that says buy tickets. You can always buy tickets. And if you can't find that button, you can email me, hello@silkmothstage.com, and I will help you figure it out. So we have a box office website where people can pay using a credit card or whatever. Our ticket prices are $35 for general admission, $17.50 for students. I learned the hard way that making student exactly half of general makes my life easier because people will be like, can I exchange 1 general for 2 students or something? And last year I used to have to like charge them $1 to do that. Not anymore. So there's that. We currently are running a special, which ends, I think, the day this podcast drops, April 26th. Until then, you can use code EARLYBIRD23 to get 10% off tickets. We have season tickets for a 15% discount. If you want to just commit, this is so cool, right? You can go on the website. You can buy your tickets for Artemisia's Intent, for Wonder of Our Stage. You can buy both dinners, including one you're not going to eat till September. And then you're like done.
I love this.
I love that personally, because I have, things sneak up on me. So there's that. Sometimes people ask me like, oh, I can't see, exactly what your location is. That is because the theater is my house. So in order to get directions and an address, you have to buy a ticket. I will say that we're about 20 minutes from Harrisonburg, about like 15 minutes from Bridgewater. So that's all I'm willing to say right now. But buy a ticket. I'll tell you where I live. It'll be fun.
That's really great. And I like that 15% off. It's like we got a 15% off theme with the last 15.
Yeah. Us, the Popsters.
Yes, PrePOPsterous. Tisha at PrePOPsterous is going to love that. You've got a lot of great things going on there. I love that. And for your out-of-town guests, I see that you have what looks like some unique, cozy, and delightful accommodation options, some with amazing views of the valley run by your friends and relations to you that the laughers can stay in, whether they want to make it a staycation experience or they're coming in from somewhere else. What can you tell us about those options?
So we know a lot of people, and when I say we, I mean me and my board of about 5 people, of 5 people. We know a lot of folks who run rental cabins or different things. So there are some kind of glamping options. There are some tiny houses. There's some basement apartments. There's a couple that have like gorgeous gardens. There's some that have hot tubs. Anyway, we just emailed everyone we knew that runs some kind of a vacation rental and said, can we feature you on our website? And they're like, yeah, sure. And some of them, although not all, and it has changed a little bit, so I'm unclear about which ones. If you say, I am coming to town for a Silk Moth show, they will give you a discount on your rental.
What?
Right. Yeah. And they're not paying us to feature them. Like, we just are excited. We want people to come here and see how beautiful the valley is. We're working on that page. Actually, we're internally trying to create a list of like, if you could only go to 5 things in the valley and eat at 5 restaurants in the valley, what would they be?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But like last year, my friend came from Philly with her family and they stayed in one of those rentals and came to the show. And then I think they went to Mr. J's for breakfast. And they had a great time.
Yeah, they were getting a lot out of their Shenandoah Valley experience. Yeah. And that's what we're all about here on this podcast. This is great synergy. I wanted to ask you if laughers wanted to volunteer, can they?
Definitely. We offer free tickets to people who volunteer. Most of our volunteer needs are related to the shows themselves. We need people to help direct traffic, check people in, help folks find their picnic, and light our fire, literally. So
there would be some laughers who like lighting those kind of like outdoor fires, cozy
You're good
fire
at making a
things.
campfire.
Yeah, campfire.
So anyway, folks can email me, hello@silkmothstage.com, or there's also a form on our website that people can use to get on our website or our mailing list. And there's a little comment section where people can say, like, I'm interested in volunteer opportunities or something. And I'll be sure that they get the information when those start to come out.
That's so great. And I imagine as you're growing here, there's some opportunities for theater artists too, it looked like from the website there were. So if a theater artist is looking for the kind of unique experience that you're doing there, is there a way for them to become a part of your company?
Absolutely. We are kind of an amorphous, we're not like a defined ensemble company. We welcome anybody. We have on our website, there's a section at the top that says play with us. And if you click there, that's where you can find information about auditioning. We also are accepting play submissions kind of all the time. So I read 40 plays last fall, trying to find the 2 that we're doing for this season. I read so many plays. I love it. So if people have plays that they think would be a good fit for our space and our ethos, like, I would love to hear from them. We do have some design openings, although as noted, we're very low tech. And anyway, people can find us. There's a contact form. People can just email me. I'm always excited to meet new or other theater artists. And we pay our artists, which
yes, that's good. I believe in that. It's important to me too. Yep. I agree with that. I mean, you don't go to the accountant and go, hey, can you do this for me for free?
Exposure.
Right.
People die of exposure, Dawn.
Right. So I am with you on that movement and support it 100%. I think that's great. So we're on the same page with that. Are there specific other theater artists that you work with or want to hear from that you can talk about?
So we definitely are looking for actors right now for One of Our Stage. I think that's probably the biggest thing is actors and playwrights. We're always seeking actors and playwrights.
Okay, great. And are you a nonprofit?
We are indeed a registered nonprofit as of last summer.
That is exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Riley.
I just want to say shout out to the Arts Council of the Valley, which gave us a grant last year before we were a certified nonprofit. Nobody else would.
Anyway, Jenny Burton.
Right? So great.
Right. Shout out to Jenny Burton, Art Council of the Valley. I just saw her yesterday because I was at the Smith House for a meeting with the JP Gola and the Court Square Theater team about the comedy pageant fundraiser we're doing there, hosted by X2 Comedy in the fall. So awesome. I ran into her in the hallway. She is delightful. That is for sure. So thank you, Jenny, for making that happen. Are you looking for corporate sponsorship then?
We are. Okay. So on our website, we have a support us page, and it includes information about corporate sponsors. We're looking for many different levels of corporate sponsorship. And depending what level people are interested in supporting us at, we give free tickets to use for employee benefits, a certain amount per year. We will mention supporting organizations from the stage. We include the organization's logos in our email newsletter on our website. We're really hoping we can get some corporate sponsorship this season, which would be a new experience for us.
Yeah, that would be great. So any of you corporate sponsors out there looking for another unique way to get involved? Yes,
one more thing.
Tell us about it.
If you have a business and you don't want to just like give $1,000 to a theater, even though we would appreciate that, we also have a group rate for any group of like 10 or more. And so if you want to give your employees a really fun night out, you can do that as a corporation, like earn that best boss mug, you know? So people who want to know about group sales, please call me.
I love that. Earn the best boss mug. I might steal that. No,
you go right ahead, John. It's yours.
I love that. Dude, that's great. Get in touch with Eiley at Silk Moth Stage if you're interested in that. And they have some other goodies too. I noticed you have a gift shop on your website. What kinds of goodies do you have available for the laughers?
Oh yeah, we have so many. We've got stickers that feature so I want to just say our moth, we're doing a different moth each year, but this is our 2023 moth. It was designed by World Designs in Front Royal. So again, super local, love them. And so you can get stickers with that design on it. We have pint glasses because people are welcome to bring something to, enjoy. Just don't get obnoxious. We have sweatshirts and t-shirts and mugs. We've got all kinds of stuff with that silk moth design, and I love that design. I'm so excited about it.
The silk moth design. Is that hard to do? Just as a side note, to do that hobby of yours, you were talking about making silk moth.
Oh, dyeing the silks?
Yeah, dyeing the silks.
It's not hard. I mean, it might be hard if I were better at it and was like kind of going for really specific effects.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some dye, here's some fabric, here's some soda ash. Maybe we'll sprinkle some salt on it or like twist it in a neat way or iron some leaves onto it. I don't know. There's a bunch of different stuff you can do. But yeah, it's funny when my partner comes home and sees silk hanging all over the bathroom. He just is like, "Do you need me to go get you some ice cream, honey?" Like it's a sign that I'm not doing great.
Where'd you learn how to do that before we close up here? I'm just curious.
Oh, my stepmother actually, she's really good at it. She went through for a long time. She supported herself as what she referred to as a wearable artist. Which I always imagined meant she was like piggybacking on people while like painting, but she just means she made beautiful clothing. And a lot of it was shibori dyed silk. And so I learned some techniques from her. And then now I'm just like expanding my repertoire through Pinterest, which is fine too.
Well, that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your work when I come out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have one other thing I wanted to tell you or ask you actually. Yeah. When you mentioned the pageant in the fall. So one thing we're trying to put together is one of our, advertising mailers is we want to say like, make it a theater weekend in the Valley. And so I'm trying to collect all of the different places in, basically Winchester to Lexington that are doing plays either when we're doing our first play, which is Memorial Day weekend and June 9 through 11, or our second play, which is the middle 2 weekends of September. So I just want to be like, hey, come see our show, but our show is only like an hour and a half long. So like, also go check out this comedy pageant. Also, go see what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely be able to connect with you after the show and get the dates for you for the comedy shows. And we can definitely make that happen. I think that is a great thing to do. Appreciate you doing that and stepping up and connecting everybody's opportunities of where they can see live performances. Been so wonderful that we're starting to be able to get out again and enjoy all of that. So
it is.
Yes, we're getting back to normal, I think. Cross fingers. Who knows what's coming next? In the meantime, all we have is now. The Power Now. Eckhart Tolle, shout out. If you've never heard of him, just check him out. Living in the Now. It's really a great place to be. And that's exactly the kind of experience you provide at Silk Moth Stage, is in creating an interaction between the artists and the audience, is a in the now story creation experience. So
absolutely.
I think people need to know how they can follow Silk Moth Stage on social media or otherwise then to connect and get more information as we close this out. So do tell, Eiley, how can they connect?
Sure. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all with the handle Silk Moth Stage. We're really not great at Twitter anymore because Twitter is not that great anymore. But we're there. We post a ton on Instagram and on Facebook all the time. So that's, you can like and follow us there. People can sign up for our newsletter. There's a form on the website to sign up for the newsletter. And that website is silkmothstage.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Eiley. And Lappers, we'll be sure to put that information for you in the show notes as well. So if you're working out, driving, You'll have it right there so you can grab it safely. Plus, we'll also have that discount promo code LAUGH15 to buy delicious gourmet popcorn at PrePOPsterous.com in the show notes for you as well, so you can go visit the poppers. And they would love to see you and help you bring the snacks to make your experience at Silk Moth Stage even more delightful than it already will be. Thank you so much, Ayali. I was doing so good this whole show, and then there I go. But anyway, let's try that again. Take two. Thanks so much, Eiley. This has been wonderful and fun chatting about all things Silk Moth Stage with you today. Such a delightful, unique experience you are creating for artists and audiences alike in the shared experience of story creation. So thanks again from the bottom of my heart for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much, Dawn. It was a pleasure.
Yes, you bet. And laughers, remember to connect and learn more. Visit Silk Moth Stage at their website, silkmothstage.com. That's silkmothstage.com. And lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, laughers. Out of all the podcasts out there, you picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring one to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share this podcast with a friend, and until next time, cheers.